What is going on, guys? Snickel here, and today I have another platinum trophy video for you guys. Today I'm going to be getting the platinum trophy in tilting tiles on the PlayStation 4. Now, the last trophy that I do have to get is Mastermind, which is to complete all 58 original levels. This trophy just requires that you beat all of the levels. You don't have to get all of the lowest moves that you have to get for all of the other trophies. If you guys do go on to enjoy the video, be sure to give it a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe and consider hitting that bell notification to stay up to date on all of my new uploads. Anyway, with all of that being said, let's get into this video. Typically, I would live stream all my platinum trophies and everything like this, but I was not able to live stream this as I did get a kind of early review code for the game. So I do want to thank Eli and Treefall Studios for that. So as I stated in the beginning of the video, the last trophy that I'm going for Mastermind is to beat all of the stages. But each of these stages does have its own specific trophy for beating the stage in a certain amount of moves. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner that this stage will allow me 50 moves in order to beat it. That's to beat the stage, but the trophy requires that I do it in 49 or less moves. So you have to pay attention to that as you're playing through the game, because you can beat this stage in 50 moves, but there is ways to beat it in less than 50 moves, but that's not for every single stage. Some of the stages, the number in the bottom right hand corner is going to be the bare minimum that you need to do while you're playing through the stages. So this just comes through a lot of trial and error and just continuing to play the levels over and over again and kind of map it out. The other thing that the game provides is that your tile can kind of use a different amount of moves. So you can use diagonal moves, you can use double space moves, and then eventually when you get into, I think, the third world in the game, you learn how to tilt, which means that you can get gems that are kind of off the side or in the middle of an area where you wouldn't necessarily be able to go normally. So combining all of that stuff, you'll have to kind of use some big brain moves and figure everything out. And again, it's a lot of trial and error. The good thing is that if you do not beat a level by doing the minimum amount of moves for the trophy, at least, right when you finish the level, you can pause the game, exit it, go back to the main menu, and start the level right back up. And each of the levels will track, you know, your minimum moves or your best moves that you'll have for doing it. So again, you just need to pay attention to that. If you beat a level and you end up not getting a trophy, it's not because the trophy is glitched. It's probably because you didn't do it in the correct amount of moves. And you'll see as I'm playing through here in this one, this was the second to last stage, and I ended up beating it here, but I didn't beat it with the minimum amount of moves I needed for the trophy. So I had to end up going back and playing it again. And again, the worlds that are provided within the game provide a lot of variability in things like materials, and what I mean by materials is like there's like ice on some of the blocks that you kind of move around on. There's going to be some teleporting blocks. There's going to be blocks that lift you in the air so you can get to places that you typically wouldn't be able to reach. So there's all kinds of stuff like that. So I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was great. And when we look through the list later on, you'll see that every single level will provide you with a trophy, that being, I think there's 58. Yeah, there's 58 total levels. So you're going to get a trophy for every single level by doing a certain amount of moves. And then you'll get a trophy for beating all of the levels for your first time. But again, you can go back and replay the levels any way you want to. So the best way that I found to go through it is there are guides that you can use if you want a step-by-step instruction on how to get through every single level the fastest way possible. But what I did was I would kind of sit there for a second, kind of see what I'm working with, what kind of moves I have, where I can use double moves, because you don't really have to use double moves in the same, spots all the time. You can kind of mix it up, because wherever you're going to be doing a double move or two moves, you can use a double move. So you don't have to use it in the same exact spot. So just remember that when you're kind of working through. And some of the levels can be pretty big. They definitely can be very big and kind of daunting to get into. But if you kind of just sit there, think about what you're doing. Think about how many moves you have to make. You will get through the levels and they're not going to be too much of a problem. So there we go. We did that level with 49 moves, which I believe is for the trophy there. So there's a stage 57. And then we're going to go for our last trophy here. So we move to the right, we tilt, double move, and then we do some diagonal moves. And then we double move, and then we tilt, and then that should get us that. But you can see that when we did at 11 out of 11, we are going to get the Mastermind trophy first, which is for beating the entire game. But then we're also going to get the trophy for the last stage, which is stage 58. I didn't mention that. We're getting that as well because it is my first time beating the game. And then we will get the platinum trophy called Tiles Tilted. I had a fantastic time playing through this game. It was a lot of fun. The puzzles were great. But anyway, let's take a look at this list. So here it is, 100% with a platinum, no DLC or anything. And as you're looking through the list here, you're going to see that there are, again, are trophies for every single stage, but you have to do it in a certain amount of moves or less. This game does total 60 trophies, which is a ridiculous amount for any game, let alone an indie game. So that's great to see a list with so many trophies. Obviously, a majority of them are bronze and you're only getting 1 gold, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me because the points work the same regardless if I have 50 bronze or 11 gold. I'm going to get the same amount of points out of a trophy list at the end of the day, but you can see every single one of these trophies is related to beating a stage in a certain amount of moves or less. And like I said, if you do end up beating the stage and you don't pop the trophy for that stage, it just means that you didn't beat the stage in the minimum amount of moves. And you need to go back and reevaluate how you're moving around. Again, there are guides for this, so if you are wanting to use those, you can, but I don't think it's worth it. Just sit down, think about it. You'll get through it. Trust me. It just takes a little bit of thinking, and you'll get through every single one of these stages in the minimum amount of moves. Anyway, here's the profile. Trophy level 553, 3%. I've got 13,063 total trophies. Got 8,842 bronze, 2,916 silver, 1,101 gold, 204 platinums, and like I said, 13,063 total trophies if you're into that numbers kind of stuff. And then here's the platinum trophy itself, Tiles Tilted. So this is a great little game, just came out, would highly suggest everybody to pick it up because it's a blast. It's a nice little game. So typically, Treefall Studios, Eli's games were kind of, I don't want to say on the easier side, but they are great games. They're obviously made of passion, which is what I really like about them. And all of the games have their own kind of charm to them. This game has that charm, but then on top of it, you really need to strategize and think about how you're going to get through every single one of these levels because some of these stages can be quite interesting and they can take a little bit of time to get through. They really can. And if you are struggling, use the guide. No one's going to judge you if you use a guide, right? No one's going to know if you use a guide. So use a guide if you want to, if you're really struggling that much. So anyway, let's talk about some numbers here. So if I had to rate this trophy list out of 10, I'm going to give this like a 3 out of 10. I would give it a little bit higher because some of the stages can be very difficult. But with there being so many guides around, it kind of brings it down. It's kind of like the same thing as Hitman and Lara Croft Go. Like if you play those games legitimately without guides, they're pretty hard. You have to figure out how to master every single level. But if you just watch a guide, it'll tell you go up, down, left, right, up, right, left. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get through the game. So it's the same thing here. There are guides if you do struggle, but I really wouldn't suggest them. So I'm going to say 3 out of 10 because again, if you do think it's more difficult, you can kind of help yourself. And time it takes to get the platinum, you're probably looking at about an hour or 2. Really not that long, unless you are, again, struggling on a few of the stages and not using the guide. So 3 out of 10, around 2-ish hours, I would say, to get the platinum. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Down in the description below, you'll find links to all types of stuff, my Twitter, my Twitch, other videos like this, Discord server, podcast, a bunch of stuff. So if you want to go follow me on any of that stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. Again, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like. If you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing for more trophy content like this. And I hope to see you all around sometime soon.